So we're looking here at the GT3 R Rennsport, our new race car that we just introduced here at Laguna Seca in the 2023 Rennsport Reunion. And I'd like to just walk you through the car and explain a little bit about it. So you have to kind of put this car in perspective as far as how design works. Normally you're restricted to a certain amount of packaging, restrictions, requirements about whether lighting, safety, whatever for a street car. For a race car, it also has its set of regulations as far as what's all possible. With this car, it follows no rules. There's no regulations for the street, and there's no regulations for the track. So it's a full-on track car with the designer's dream of having nearly 100% freedom to do whatever you wanted to do, as opposed to following the principles of aerodynamics, functionality, and things like that. We took a different route. We thought, well, how do we make this thing sort of more intense? So we want to make something special about it. It's a special car with 77, it's only 77 units. So we basically let the air passages from the front to the rear sort of describe the car. So anywhere where air goes in, there's always a place for it to come out. And that's what we like to, sort of like my personal designer thing, is let the function describe the car. So coming around to the side, obviously we have a carryover door from, it's actually the same as the 992 as far as the geometry goes. So it's very narrow. Of course you have the wide fenders. And in this cutout area, just all wide open stuff. We didn't want to have like a standard outside mirror for it, but to have a small camera here that transmits the images from the rear onto screens in the front. That makes it aerodynamically a lot more efficient. The heritage or the history of Porsche is very important for us. So from the description of what this car should achieve, we were asked by the aerodynamicists and the motorsport engineers, we needed a double wing. So what we basically did is we took a double wing, and the two surfaces here aren't any different than how other race cars have done it, but it's just executed a different way. It's just connected with this big element here. It all is like super light. It's all hollow carbon fiber with additional struts here just to keep the stability. And I always like to refer this part of the car, when I was modeling it with my digital model, I called it "Make It Look Aquatic." You know, it's like kind of like a stingray that kind of like fly through the water, and of course has a little bit of influence from one of my favorite 935s from 1978. Good friend of mine, Hurley Haywood, was one of the drivers of it, so that's where that influence comes from. The back of the car, obviously there's a lot of visible technology. We didn't want to do anything, it's warm in here, didn't want to do anything as far as covering things up with screen. That's just the way it is. That's a natural technology inside the car with all the heat shields and stuff. This here is a very important functional element taken over from the GT3 R, the car that it's based on. And one small detail here is the exhaust pipes. You can almost zoom in on them. We actually spent a lot of time creating sort of a heat sink for the pipes so it doesn't get so hot up here. Because this space here and this space here is very limited, so you had to make the best out of that thing. All race cars have that. That's a rain light. The other thing we're quite proud of is the light bar. It was executed with a new technology, and we decided to, like some of our show cars, to illuminate the Porsche letters as well. There's a little bit of a nod to some future Porsches that are coming out. So the car just came back from a test drive. That's why it's still a little bit warm. I just saw the car for the first time in the corkscrew. It's a very emotional moment for me just to hear it and to see it move on that track here today. It's just unbelievable.